Welcome to Final Thoughts Podcast, brought to you by CrossfaderLA.com, blending culture and creativity.
We're back.
Welcome
We're
back.
back, and we're diving into this album of the week, an album that kind of wasn't on my radar until uh, we came across it. Um, a producer that's put in 30 years worth of work. He's worked with different people from Kanye all the way up to Eminem. I mean, he's put in work for years and worked with a ton of different artists. So this is his latest body of work, and we're talking about The Alchemist, and the name of the album is called The Genuine Articulate. Talk about him as a producer. I mean, he's more known as a producer. 30 years. I mean, that's been his primary role in hip hop as being a producer, and he's made some dope ass songs. Um, and most recently, I think John, this is he actually produced one of your singles in the last 2 weeks. I don't know if you're aware of that.
He
Um,
did. I'm pretty
ASAP
sure.
Rocky,
Oh, this is the ASAP Rocky one.
yes, with
Oh.
Ruby
Oh,
Rosie. Is
J.
that what it's
Cole.
called? Yes.
Yes. Yeah. That sounds about right. Yeah, that's right.
So that was produced by The Alchemist, and then one of the highlights during the Kendrick and Beef battle was Meet the Grams, the eerie, grimy, gritty beat that I feel that kind of snuffed out hate to say it this way, but snuffed out the momentum that Drake had going into that
Yeah.
beef that Friday night was Meet the Grams. And that song was produced by The Alchemist. And so, I mean, he's just multi talented and has his hands in multiple things. And I think this was a cool project. I don't know if I would go back and re-listen to it often. There's maybe like one song that I think stood out to me on this album. But overall, I mean, as a producer rapper. I mean, I think he does justice, and he has a ton of different features on it. He has let's go. He has Schoolboy Q. He has Action Bronson, Havoc, Conway the Machine, Larry June. So I mean, these all people that he's worked with and consistently works with them. He's constantly putting out work with them. But if you just look at Alchemist as a producer and just look at what he's done, even over this last year, it seems like this may be like his year for production. Not that it's
Okay.
not that this is his best work in general, but I'm just saying, like, as far as his name being out there, because I mean, meet the when you think Kendrick Lamar, Meet the Grams, it's like, damn, he produced that. Then he produced for Big Sean, and I don't have the list of all the other people he's kind of touched. Oh, Eminem, he produced for Eminem this year, so he's definitely like got his name has already been out there, and I just think he's just adding another notch to his belt with this latest project. I'll say this: like usually when we do like album reviews, for me, I don't know about for you guys, but it takes me like at least 2 or 3 times to kind of soak it in and take it in. And I remember the first time I played it, I felt like this is a mundane album, which right, I just felt like it was kind of like there was nothing that stood out. There was nothing that was horrible, but there was nothing that was like, oh man, this is like um, just grabbed my attention first time listening to it, just the first time. But then I played
Sure.
it back like second, third time, and then I was like, okay, I'm digging. Let's go to Scientology. You know what I mean? Like I felt like that was one that I really kind of got into. I felt the beat was a little bit more up tempo, and I felt that um, like listening to it, I didn't realize, and I know I've listened to previous Alchemist albums, but this is like one of the first albums that I personally have listened to where I can hear the Alchemist spitting. Right, like he's not really known
Yeah.
as being a dope
Yeah, I
ass
agree.
rapper. He's just more, he's definitely a producer, but on this project for sure, he stepped up his lyrical game and he comes off and he's holding his own. So on Scientology, I felt like he did his part. on Diego Maradona with Kanye the Machine. I think he outshined Conway for sure. I think that was probably as far as this whole album. I think that was like his best lyrics he put out on this album. And then of course, me just always being um, emphatic when it comes to father son songs. Like every time I hear one, it kind of like draws me to it. Seasons Change, of course. He's talking. Kind of rap. He's rapping, and he has his sons. In the
Yeah.
background playing and stuff. It pulls me in. So those three songs are my highlights. I would probably say that Scientology was probably my favorite one out of the album.
Okay, and to echo your point, I wasn't expecting to hear the Alchemist rapping his ass off this album, but he does. He really comes in and he does his thing. And I don't know if I've ever heard him rapping before, but he does really good rapping on here. It sounds like it works. He knows how to match the beat. I agree with you, Father. I really like Seasons Change. My favorite song was probably Minnesota Fats, just because I really like Action Bronson. I think he's a really good rapper whenever he decides to step on a beat. So like I think this album does have a lot of good in it. That first song, Ferraris in the Rain, with Schoolboy Q. Once again, a really good song. I was actually that song caught me off guard because it's the first song of the album, and you hear the Alchemist rapping, and I was like, "Yo, is that the Alchemist? Like what is going on?"
Yeah,
but I caught on pretty quickly.
For sure.
I caught on pretty quickly, and I was like, "All right, this is dope." So like I said, because it's so short and smooth and easy listen, I like it. I appreciate the album for that. I do think, Father, I would still, even after listening to it and digesting it, I would still feel like this is a mundane album, so to speak. Like I don't think this album is breaking the mold in any way, but that's not always a bad thing. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every single time, especially when it's only 22 minutes. Just do your thing for 22 minutes. So I like it.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would say my only disappointment. Go ahead, Jeremiah.
No, you're not going. Go for it.
No, I would say so my only after listening to it though, and then doing some homework and I went through his discography or whatever, and that's how I know it expands like 30 years, and he's worked with all these different people, and he's there's so many dope ass songs he's produced, and I'll just keep it short to just this year. Like you think about Meet the Grams, I was like, there was nothing on this album that was as good as Meet the Grams, though. You know what I mean? I would always say for a producer, to keep that banger in his pocket. So when I put out my album, it's like, damn, this shit's good. Kind of like DJ Mustard, right? DJ Mustard is the same thing. That was the other producer rapper that put out an album this year, right? He put out an album. It was so. But then They Not Like Us was just like the song of the summer. You know what I mean? And sometimes you don't know what's gonna hit, what's not gonna hit, what's gonna stick, whatever. But Meet the Grams just has that sound that I think, as far as I'm concerned, that when we go, most of us that listen to hip hop and was sucked in by this battle, you're gonna remember Meet the Grams, right? You're gonna remember the whole highlight. You're gonna talk about it, be like, oh yeah, remember when Drake dropped Family Matters, and then 30 minutes later, Meet the Grams came on, and that sinister piano beat came on. You know what I mean? It just stands out, and I kind of was anticipating something of that magnitude on the album.
Yeah, I agree. But also maybe the Meet the Grams beat. I don't think the Alchemist could have done it justice without Kendrick on it. Or DJ Mustard. I don't think Not Like Us would have hit the same if it wasn't Kendrick on it. So it's it's a game you're playing. When
it's
you're
very good point.
Because both those songs you mentioned, Father, there's a common denominator, and it's Kendrick. So maybe the beat can be dope, but if you don't have the right MC on it, it might fade into obscurity.
You're absolutely right. You know what? That just shows you the skill level.
Have we heard over the years?
But it's okay.
I haven't had a word in 5 minutes. I'm going to chill on that. I was just say, how many beats have we heard over the years that have been dope beats, but because the MC was not utilizing them to their best ability, just kind of forget about them, And I feel like
Kendrick is. I don't know because I forgot about him.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Whereas Kendrick is
exactly.
opposite of that, right? I was gonna also bring up. Okay, fine. I was gonna also bring up. I feel like of producers that also rap that have featured in a Kendrick diss track this year, I like this album a lot more than the other album we've listened to on this show. Um, I feel like
Oh,
I
DJ
guess it's
Mustard.
not
Okay.
like reinventing the wheel, but it's a really well made wheel. Uh, like the opening song really hooks me. A Far Away from the Rain, I really love that song actually. Um, I also really love Season Change as well as a good ending song to the whole project, as well as details that I got. There are also songs in this album that I just like a lot, right? Um, and it's short enough where like it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's not padded out with songs that are just sound samey. It's just a very like well made project that I think speaks to the Alchemist's skill and history in the genre, that he knows how to come in and create a project that sounds good that you listen to, and that uh, is showcases what he does best and what his features do best.
Got it. Got it. I was surprised that he produced a track on Mr. Morale. I was like, damn, this guy's like, if you look at his discography, he's like on like you
He's
don't know
everywhere.
that
Yeah.
he made these beats. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
he's talented, and you know, I know he gets the credit and the props he deserves. But I think this might be the year people are kind of like finally saying, "Oh, the Alchemist." You know, like who is this guy? Let me do some homework on
Yeah.
him. And I think by him putting out this album, it just only increases his value, his stock value. So,
Yeah.
much props to the Alchemist.
Cool. All right.
All right.
All right, so you know, just while we're here, something I thought about because I know we're going to talk about ratings or whatever. Like how would you rate this? My question is, how would you rate this album on its own, and then how would you rate it in a category of like producer rappers?
I've
So
only ever
it's
heard
funny.
one other, but you can go for now.
I expected that because as an album on its own, I think it's like I'd give it a 3 on the 3 out of 5. But if I'm
Yeah.
comparing it to other producer rappers, so let's say if I'm gonna just go back, right? Let's think about, I don't know, like Graduation. Man, that's a producer rapper right there. You know, that's a good album. So when I put those two side
Yeah,
by side, I just don't know. I'm not really feeling it. Like when you put it almost hurts it when you say producer rapper at that point, because there's very few producer rappers. You know who produces and raps? J. Cole. You know, like the Alchemist might be lacking in that category.
I just you know what? That's why like when I listened to it, I was like, man, this is a cool album, and then I was like, all right, so you know, because I think that's something we as a unit need to kind of look into and evolve on is like, hey, how are we gonna rate this album, and then what category we're gonna put it in? You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
comparing this to like a Sabrina Carpenter album to me doesn't make sense. It doesn't vibe right. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Sabrina versus Ariana Grande. That's a you know whatever.
Oh, I mean,
For me, it's
I, mm,
go ahead.
I was gonna say that I see that point, but I think like at the same time we can like judge them based off of how successful they were at doing the thing they are trying to do, right? Instead of judging them based off of instead of comparing the thing that they're doing and like saying like, oh, this thing's better than this, right? Just saying, okay, did Sabrina's Carpenter album do what it wanted to do better than this album doing what it wanted to do, right? Like, did or put it more like directly, did Sabrina Carpenter's album did that make a was that a more successful like fun pop time than this was an effective like rap 22 minute album, right? Instead of being like, oh, this pop album is categorically better than this rap album, you know what I mean?
No.
You tried. You tried.
I tried, I did.
Yeah, it's all good. The Angels tried too, and they had the second
Oh
worst
my
pitch
god.
The
Anyway,
biblical angels? What?
nothing.
Or
Anyway,
okay.
so all right,
Also, Dr. Dre.
let's wrap it up. What?
Dr. Dre, as far as
What about him?
producer and rapper.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, Mega. Okay, thank you for being
Damn.
honest.
I mean, his stock value went down real quick. I mean, fuck. I mean,
If
now
you
that you
look
added,
man, like for Pharrell started as a producer, like what are we doing here, man? Like,
Oh man.
wow.
Okay. Try at
All
this
right.
point, Alchemist. Try again next time because you're just not you're not up to par, I guess.
Damn, just shot him down. Like we were like, oh man, it's such a good album. Kanye, bam. J. Cole,
you're the
bam.
one who said
Pharrell,
specifically
damn.
producer turned rapper, and I think this is a hard
Oh my
category
gosh.
to like succeed in.
Well, I know, but I think that's important to put it in context of like his peers. You know what I mean? That's who he's really going up against, though. It's not like I think
Yeah,
that's something that we should look into. You know, just to make it.
Well, I mean, and to be fair, then like these are all people who were producers like back in the '90s or like early 2000s, right? Like, whereas like I don't know, I'm not familiar with Alchemist's history as far as like I don't know if he was rapping back then. I guess is more so my question.
Yes, the Alchemist started his career as a rapper. He was part of a group called the Hooligans, um, and then he somehow hooked up with Cypress Hill, and he started learning how to produce from DJ Muggs. So he was like
Uh,
16, 17 when he first came on the hip hop scene and got involved. And he started doing production with Cypress Hill, and then he started building his own brand or whatever. So he's been around a long time, and he started as like this little white kid rapping from Beverly Hills rapping or whatever. But he evolved, went to New York. That's where he met Mobb Deep. So he put in his time. He put in he put in his time grinding and learning how to elevate his craft. And he was on the East Coast for a long time, so he's done his thing. The credit he deserves, he's earned it, every last one of them, and he deserves the props. So I mean, I'm not taking anything away from him. You know, like he's like I feel like he's like one of those producers that doesn't necessarily need to shine. Like he's not craving it. He doesn't want to be like in front of your face. He's not a Kanye, you know what I mean? Like he's not trying to be all out in the shows and the videos and shit like that or whatever. He just does his work, puts in his time, submits beats. You like them, you rhyme to them, and that's it. So there's
mm,
nothing negative to say about him. I think I appreciate his time and effort that he's put in. He's like I say, he's been grinding all this time, and he has a following. Like he has like it's almost like a cult following. You know what I mean? Where
mm,
the people that follow the Alchemist, they've been following him since whatever 1996, and he can pretty much like he can put out an album on his own platform and it will sell. Like he doesn't necessarily. It's cool that he's on Apple or Google or YouTube, wherever he's at. But if he just wanted to put out an album on, let's say, Alchemist.com, he'd probably, be able to generate great sales and recoup all that money just strictly based on the people that follow him already. So I think he's
gotcha.
dope.
Very cool, but
All
not
right.
dope than other producers turned rappers we just mentioned.
No, no,
And
no. I
with this
mean,
album, with this album
no,
specifically.
and I don't think that's a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's enough what fish in the ocean for everyone to be able to eat. You know what I mean? Like, I think he has
Mm,
created his own lane, and that he's able to do what he wants when he wants and however he wants. And I think that's dope that he can do that. Dre and Pharrell and Kanye, they can all do the same thing, but doesn't mean they all have to have the same accolades or the same response from us as an audience.
gotcha. Um, but yeah, I think overall this album is a 3 for me, like a pretty strong 3, maybe a
I would
3.1.
I'm happy with a 3.
I'm a 3 guy on this one.
All right, look at us. We all agree. 3.
3, yeah.
So it's
Love to
9
hear it.
total divided by 3. 3. Wow.
3.
Wow.
There we go.
Good job,
So,
Alchemist. You got to.
good job, Alchemist. You know what I mean? 22 minutes strong and delivers. So let's do.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
All right. What else? Hey, John. Question for you.
Yes. Yeah.
Where'd you get that dope ass hat from?
I had to set our last pop up. This is a CrossFitter LA exclusive. You should definitely get it.
All right.
Man, that's cool.
I'm John. I'm Jeremiah. That's John. That's Father. We're out.
Final
All right, man.
Oh my
Thank you,
God.
guys.